Hi, I'm Ben.
Hi, I'm Claire.
And we are
Hi,
Jinx. And we have just come back from a really, really exciting trip to America.
New York.
New
Brooklyn.
York. Oh, it was so good.
It was amazing.
I don't want to boast, but we got to go to New York in March.
And drink a lot of gin.
It was freezing, wasn't it? How cold was it?
It was very cold. I think one day it was -7. I couldn't feel my legs.
It was 7. And do you know what we needed when it was really cold? We needed a tot of something good.
We did.
We needed a tot. And what better tot than a tot by a chap called Perry?
Perry's tot.
So we ended up going to the New York Distilling Company. We ended up just sort of winding our way in there. I think it's probably...
Having a little cocktail at the bar before the tasting.
It's one of those miraculous things where if you type in New York Distilling Company, where you get on your Google searches, New York Distilling Company. It's sort of clever how it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
But these guys, they've got it really going on, haven't they? They've got the tour, they've got the bar, they've got loads of different
music
gins.
there.
They've got a
really
tour guide who knows their
staff.
stuff, who's got some charisma. She was great.
She was awesome. Answered all of our questions.
And she knew the answers to the questions, which was amazing. So we bought loads of their gin.
We did. Not just, I think we bought some of their whiskey as well, didn't we? But we're not here to talk about that today.
No, that's a separate
But
thing.
they also do whiskey, and it's excellent.
Well, obviously, because not obviously, but you get the casks where they keep the casks where they keep all the booze, and you use the same ones for gin and whiskey basically, and that's how you end up with these oak aged gins, and you get these very light whiskies, and that's sort of almost on the border of one to the other.
Yeah.
That's how it happens. So it makes sense that the places just do both.
Yep. Exactly. And so
we've got a few. So we're gonna
start off. Basically, the sort of standard gin by New York Distilling Company is called Dorothy Parker, but we sort of went straight for the Perry's Tot, which is their Navy Strength.
Basically, we went straight for the booze.
Yeah, the Dorothy Parker gin is lovely, but we were limited as to how many we could bring back, and instead we bought 3 varieties of the Navy Strength.
We thought we were limited, but actually we both slept all the way back to the UK and then weren't checked at any point in security. So we could have brought loads back.
Do you really want to say that on the internet?
I mean, yes.
Yeah, that's true, because we didn't break the law, but what we're saying is we could have.
We would have absolutely declared it had we been asked to, but we weren't even asked to hand in a form, were we?
Absolutely
UK
not.
security, I mean, guys. Right, so we're going to start with the classic Navy Strength gin.
Perry's Tot. So wasn't this named after an admiral or something? Someone important?
Whilst you read, I'm going to talk about what a cheap date Claire is.
Legendary
on
Brooklyn Navy Yard Commodore Matthew C. Perry.
Yeah. When was the last time you drank a Navy Strength and came out the other side unscathed?
Never.
Right. So this is a seismic moment here, because Claire is going to come out unscathed.
We're going to do our best.
Let's do it.
I'm going to have the smallest amount humanly possible. So we're going to start out with the Perry's Tot Navy Strength gin without the bells and whistles. Mm-hmm. So do you want to get yourself a little shot glass? And I'm just going to have the tiniest amount and give you a bit more.
She just likes to get me drunk. I mean...
You've just got a bit of tolerance than I do.
I'm just fat. That's all it is.
Oh, So, what we learnt in New York is that an American dry gin is more citrus-led and less juniper-led than a London dry gin.
And that links in quite well to the sort of Latin gins, you know what I'm talking about, a Spanish dry. And if you think about the links between Spain and America, if you think across the Mexican border, it's a lovely thing that there's such a sort of like a collaboration in the sort of style of gin making. It's a really lovely thing.
Lovely sort of... But it's sort of a drier citrus than the Spanish gins, though. Spanish gins, I find, a sweeter citrus. So this is a lovely dry citrus.
More juniper heavy.
Yes.
You get quite herbaceous things going on the continent.
Oh my gosh. You know what I love about this? Because of the high alcohol content, it just melts over the tongue.
It's like a rare steak.
Yeah. It's almost like it's not even liquid. It just sort of goes...
Barely cooked. Yeah.
It's just
That's
there's
exactly
this momentary warmth and delicious flavour in your mouth, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, that is beautiful.
And without being rude, it's got all of the characteristics of a classic gin without any of the frills.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the classic. There's a nice. I taste a nice hit of like herbaceous hit of coriander.
Absolutely.
Coriander.
What's
what's that across the pond? Is that cilantro?
Cilantro. Yeah.
Cilantro.
Yeah.
So and you
Marks out of 10, please, guys.
if you give me 4, I'll be happy with that. Yeah, and then you get the sort of what I call the Christmas spices. You know, the kind of the star anise, those sort of dry downs. But what you get, the difference between this and the kind of Mediterranean gin is the heavy juniper hit.
Absolutely. It's all in there. And what's interesting is that on the nose it's very lemony, but the second it's on the palate, it's got all of those lovely dry flavours.
Which is to do with actually the way that they distill it. They do I think they do a triple distillation process, and not everyone does. A lot of places just do it in one go, just any glass. They sort of kind of do it in one go. If you buy your supermarket gins, other brands are available. I'm not going to name and shame, but a lot of them do it in one process, whereas this is a triple process. So there's a lot of love, and it means that you really sort of concentrate the flavours. You know, imagine if you just take some water out of your Ribena, then you take some more water out of your Ribena, and then you take some more water out of your Ribena. You end up with a very strong blackcurrant concentrate, and it's exactly the same here.
Okay.
Just going to find a dam to put my gin in my glass. Straight away, it opens it up a little bit, and it makes it a more accessible gin. I feel less alcohol, and that's because it sounds very obvious, but with most companies, what you do with a Navy strength gin, it's usually distilled, so they go through all the process, the machination and what have you, and it's initially sort of cut at something ridiculous like 80% plus ABV. So the difference between Navy strength and a normal strength gin often is just less water, and so when you put a bit of ice in, a bit of water, you just sort of open it up a little bit. Same people will argue for generations about what you do with whiskey. But it's the same concept, and here I just feel that I celebrate the botanicals more than the alcohol content.
Absolutely.
Which is cool.
So, we're going to bung a little bit of lemon peel in here.
Have you done some uncultured rippage?
No, actually, I did some peeling, and I managed not to peel my own thumb this time. So
you managed to peel it off camera though just now. You've done
but that was 5 minutes ago. So let's.
So fine. Let's pretend that
let's
never
not tell
happened.
everyone about that one.
Yeah, let's pretend that never happened.
Again, lovely. Just works really well. Fits in with that lemony scent that I got at the beginning. Let's chuck some tonic.
Right, let's do a proper shot.
What?
Let's do a proper shot. If we're going to do it.
You can put a proper shot in yours. I have to be.
But actually, I've had one going for a while now, so shall I just pour this in here?
Why don't you do that?
Yeah,
and I'm just going to pour a little splash of
I don't
tonic
need
in
more
mine.
booze. There's more booze.
No, what's strange about Navy strength for me is that it's really it's sort of 1.5 the strength of a normal gin, but I find the effect is about quadruple.
Times 10. Yeah.
It's really odd, and I would love it if somebody out there could scientifically explain to me why that happens.
It's a lack of hydration as well at the same time. But it's something more complex than that, but that's the obvious solution.
I would really love to know. I'm fascinated. Perhaps somebody can do a little study on this for us.
Yes.
Now, that is beautiful. It's so smooth. I can't believe this is Navy strength because it just... I mean, that was max 50-50, and I could just pour that down and drink it all day and be in a puddle on the floor, which I won't do. But
I'm one step ahead of the game because earlier we had a little play with chilies, didn't we?
We did.
And my glass already has chilies in. So if you look here, we've just got a couple of little heads of the chili in. It's a bit of uncultured rippage. And actually, it really sort of lifts the flavour. Don't be frightened of chili. You just use very small amounts. You put a lot in there. But
it's going to blow my head off. But that's all right.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Taka, so...
It's fine.
Yeah.
Lifts it straight away, doesn't it? And so we're talking about a gin with classic botanicals, very heady, very juniper-led, with the botanicals very much in the background. So lemon and chili sort of bind themselves in very, very well to that. Something that sort of sits in a very classic. I mean, people very often when they listen to our videos, they will say, "Oh yeah, but that's flavoured and that's it sounds all very pretentious and blah blah blah. I just want a gin."
This is a gin.
This is just a
This
gin.
is absolutely a gin, but
It's just
it
very
is
good
so
quality.
Smooth, so delicious.
So it's like just because you want a ginny gin, do not sacrifice on quality.
Yeah.
Do not sacrifice on quality. Get the best quality product that you possibly can to start with, and in terms of the making as well, that's what they've done. They've got the best possible quality to start with, and then just not interfered with it. And I think that's really, really the key to having something that's a very simple gin. Get the good stuff.
So, being aware of how long we've harped on already, we've got a couple of other varietals of Perry's Tot to try. We have got a rose petal variety, and then
It's pink.
a cask aged
Look at my face.
oak cask aged. We're going to start with the rose petal, and we're going to try and be relatively prompt about this. So,
It's not rubbish. We tried this in
I mean,
New
you know
York.
it's good by the fact that with our limited number of bottles to
It
bring
made it back. It's not rubbish.
3 from one distillery made it.
Yeah. You're right there. You okay, hon?
No, hun, the bottle's a snake.
Snack.
Oh, I was just seeing if there was anything interesting to say about it from the back, but you know, I
It's
think
basically
you've
the same
already
gin with rose petals in and pink. And do you know what the exciting thing about this is when we
said. It's a
tried
pink gin that's not a gross pink gin.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not sweet.
Oh, I've got some rose petals on my dress actually, so this could be my gin today.
That's actually my fault.
What?
The rose petal. Oh no, those rose petals. I thought you were talking about the rose that I sprayed on.
No.
The black rose.
Oh yeah, and also I've got rose perfume, so I am a veritable rose bush.
Almost. Well, you actually are an English rose now because you now have a British passport.
That's true.
So you actually are an English rose. So congratulations.
Rosy cheeks, rosy
Congratulations.
dress, rosy smell,
Congratulations.
rosy gin. Right.
You don't get the rose initially on the nose.
No, you get it more as an aftertaste in the sinuses. It's
Isn't
one
that
of,
great?
It's one of the gas botanicals.
Yes, because what you usually get with a rose infused gin is they just sort of go, oh, people who like that will like pink stuff, and so we'll add in loads of sugar.
Yeah.
And
No,
this is
sugar can do one. Like, this is beautiful. This is just a really, really good Navy strength gin with a little bit of rose. Rose in the nose.
I basically can die of cirrhosis of the liver rather than diabetes, which is brilliant, actually.
Oh boy, that is nice. Right,
Yeah.
okay, let's get this into a G&T.
Yeah. I'm going to do some uncultured cutters, actually. We've decided to be mid-Atlantic about the whole thing. Like, I remember, like, doing some pop singing, and the coach would be like, oh, you have to sound mid-Atlantic, sound like you're a bit American, a bit British. So we've taken an American gin and we've added some British flair to it, the traditional British pear, which, you know, is a beautiful thing. It's different to an apple. It's sweeter in a way, but woodier. It's got a slightly more aromatic, earthy. It's got a bit more.
Yeah.
So shall I give you that whole thing? Actually, I should give you the smaller.
Give me the little one because hashtag FODMAP. Sorry, guys.
Oh, hashtag FODMAP. I'm just going to do this.
Yeah, you do that.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that smells lovely.
And also, anything like appley, peary with rose is just a sort of classic combination, really.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
what's wonderful is that when you put something like pear or apple in your drink, you can eat it at the end and it's soaked up the flavours. It's like a spongy thing. So, right.
It's like what you do with potatoes and fat in the oven when you make roast potatoes.
Precisely, that's a very good
That's
analogy.
exactly what it is.
Now that is beautiful. That's like, if you want something, there's a little bit of sweetness coming out because the tonic's in there. But that is something, if you want something slightly sweeter, maybe your dessert gin and tonic, or, you know, this could work with the cheese.
Yeah, but
as
you've
well.
got to remember though, not everybody, some people have sweeter tongues than us. So to us, this is a dessert gin. Absolutely it is. But for some people, this will just taste like a gin.
Yeah, maybe this could be a good gateway gin for people
Yeah.
who like
Yeah.
a pink gin. And
Have you ever got bored of a pink gin being really sweet and full of sugar? Try this stuff. Honestly, that's
Basically.
basically what it boils down
that
to,
is
isn't it?
wicked. That is so good.
And it, you know, I think you could convert to people who like their pink sweet gins
Yeah.
with something like this. Like it's basically diet gin. So it means, and because it's diet gin, it's got no calories, and therefore because it's got no calories, it's good for you, and therefore it doesn't count as any units.
Totes.
So therefore,
Right,
it's
we
basically
need
booze free.
We need to get on to the other one because
You can
I'm
talk about
aware
this. This
of-
is your baby.
Yeah, I love this one. So this is refined in an oak cask. So this one is basically further smoothed out with, it's got sort of lovely caramelly notes, and it's just really...
We talked about how gin and whiskey are kept in similar casks, and this is like halfway house, isn't it?
Yeah. So this, on the nose, it's buttery, butterscotchy.
It's like immigration. It's like ginigration.
Oh, that is so lovely. Yeah, because it's got that slight caramelly element that comes with a whiskey. And the slight sort of...
Smoky.
Yes,
The
exactly.
smoky from the wood you get a lot of the barrel in it, but it's definitely still got the juniper hit of a gin.
I just think it's a masterful
It's
product.
a very, very,
That
very
is
clever product.
Really lovely.
Very, very clever product.
So, I'm quickly going to start preparing some G&Ts with this.
I've still got a glass. What did we say that we were going to...
We said we were going to put a little bit, so we've actually got a little mandarin here, because we were looking for a citrus to go with this that was quite slightly sweet, to sort of marry with those sweet flavours, but also, to work with the sweet flavours, but also to add a bit of a zing to it as well, so...
But wouldn't sort of detract or
Yes.
contrast with the earthiness that you get from it as well, because, you know, it's like if you put potatoes with parsnips, you get that sort of clash, whereas it's a different thing here.
I don't even really want to put tonic in there. I mean, I would say that this, apart from the fact it's Navy strength and you have to be careful, this could be a sipping gin. I feel like with these oak cask gins, the cask aging sort of takes that edge off them. Yeah.
So to be clear, a Navy strength...
I will, to see what happens.
As a rule, Navy strength is about, well, all of these are 57, and 57 is about where it's at.
Yeah.
So if you think that a normal gin's sort of 41 to 45, there is an extra hit of alcohol in a Navy strength, luxuries of alcohol. So yeah, it is, you know, Navy responsibly, people.
Oh, that's a lovely drink as well.
Yeah, huh?
I mean, it was lovely neat, but I didn't expect it to work as well with the tonic as it does.
Oh, let's tonicify.
Just tiniest bit.
So I put more booze in my glass than yours.
Yeah, you did. But also, I love the mandarin in there as well, because yes, it adds the zing, but it's
So
also
much
got
perfume.
lovely sweetness.
It's a
Yes.
perfume that has to it, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. If you wanted to convince a whiskey drinker to drink a G&T, you go about it in that way.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh yeah, that's something I feel familiar with.
And I'm guessing that similarly to other oak aged gins that we've tried, this could also work with something like a ginger ale or a ginger
Could work with a ginger ale. Or the other thing you can do with it is make an old fashioned. You can make cocktails with it, and also all those sort of sours.
Absolutely. Oh my
You can
gosh.
make a
I
gin
want to get
sour,
creative.
Get your egg whites in there on the go.
We
Treat
might
it
have
as
to do a
whiskey.
whole episode of cocktails made with this gin, but
There were loads of companies in the UK already that do great things with oak aging and sort of recommend putting, you know, kind of egg whites in and making them into that sort of thing.
absolutely, it can function anywhere that you might use a whiskey or a
shout out
bourbon.
to Pickerings, who do a really good one.
Shout out to Pickerings. I have some on my shelf. I believe it's yours.
Yeah, it is mine, but it's fine. You can have it.
I inherited it.
Yeah, it's up in Scotland, and where in Scotland they do whiskey.
Yeah.
They do whiskey in Scotland, so
And also amazing gin.
yeah. So they've caught on to the whole thing. But yeah, cheers. We're going to leave you right now.
We'll leave
I think.
you with all of that information. Cheers.